All right, folks, the first exercise that we have is one of my all-time faves, the Easy Bar Overhead Tricep Extension.
The Easy Bar Overhead Extension is a classic for a reason. It puts the triceps in a mechanically stretched position, especially the long head, which doesn't get as much love in the pressing movements. It's a great choice for building that full 3D tricep look because it emphasizes the portion of the muscle that gives your arm thickness from the side and rear angles.
It's very stable. You can do it standing, you can do it seated. You have a barbell. Everything is super solid. Get your feet connected to the ground. You can produce a ton of force through your triceps.
So whether you're standing or seated, this movement gives you a stable base to purely focus on elbow extension. Stability means you don't waste energy balancing. It all goes into pushing through the triceps. Standing offers more core involvement, while seated removes any sway, helping you zone in on the form.
Another huge benefit is you get a massive, massive stretch at the bottom because your elbow is sky high and your triceps are pulled all the way up. You're pre-stretching the long head of your tricep, which means this trains all three heads of your triceps.
So that deep stretch at the bottom is crucial for that long head development, which runs across both the shoulder and elbow joints. It's one of the few positions where the long head is under a meaningful load, and training muscles in a lengthened state is known to be especially effective for hypertrophy.
A couple of really awesome cues on this. You're going to want to keep your elbows in at least on the way down. On the way up, it's totally fine. This keeps the delts from being involved too much and keeps the tension on the triceps. A slow, controlled eccentric.
Controlling your elbow position helps maintain focus on the triceps instead of letting the shoulders take over. A slow eccentric isn't just about control. It creates more muscle damage and metabolic stretch, which are both equally as important for muscle growth.
I highly recommend this for sets of 10 to 15 to even 20 repetitions.
So higher reps work really well for this exercise because your triceps could handle a lot of volume and the movement puts them under constant tension. Since it's a single joint lift, there's a lower risk of injury at higher reps, and a long time under tension really pushes the muscle endurance and size. If this breakdown's been useful so far, hit the like button. This could really help the channel grow.
Folks, my next also favorite tricep exercise, the barbell skull crusher, can be done with an Easy Bar. It can be done with a Smith machine. It can be done with a regular barbell and everything in between.
So the beauty of the skull crusher is its versatility. You could tailor the setup to your joints and comfort level. Easy Bar tends to be easier on the wrist and elbow, while a straight bar offers a slightly different tension curve. Machines like the Smith add even more control, which could be helpful if you're pushing heavy or trying to fine-tune form.
Positioning at the top is more important than where you end up at the bottom.
Where your arms start sets a tone for the entire lift. If your elbows are far too forward or flared out, you'll shift the tension off the tricep onto other muscles like your shoulders. Keeping arms slightly angled back maintains tension through the whole range. It also ensures a better stretch at the bottom without turning it into a press.
What you want to do is make sure that you're unlocking with your elbows pointing towards your hips. The first unlock points your elbows this way. Where you go after that, the triceps take a ton of attention.
So this cue aligns the movement with the natural path of your triceps. Unlocking the elbows towards the hip rather than flaring them out stabilizes the joint and keeps tension exactly where you want it, on the triceps. It also helps prevent shoulder involvement and unnecessary strain on the elbows.
You can do a skull crusher to touch all the way behind your neck on the bench. You can touch the top of your forehead. You can touch the bridge of your nose, the tip of your nose. You could kiss the bar a little bit. You can touch your chin, and you can even go super bonus points if you've got a spotter that you trust to go all the way down to the neck. That gives you a huge deficit.
So the target point at the bottom changes the emphasis. Lowering the bar behind your head increases the stretch on the long head of the triceps. Excellent for hypertrophy. Touching closer to your forehead or nose reduces the stretch but gives you more mechanical control. Varying the depth and the bar path could be a great way to keep training fresh and hit slightly different parts of the tricep.
Elbows stay in on the way down. On the way up, it doesn't matter a ton. Try not to just press it up, but if you have to for a few reps, that's really awesome.
Keeping your elbows tucked on the eccentric protects your shoulders and directs the load to your triceps. If your form breaks down a little on a contraction, especially near failure, it's not a deal breaker. A little flare to finish the set is fine, as long as you're not turning the lift into a press and completely shifting tension away from the muscle you're trying to grow.
Tricep exercise is the cable pushdown. Yeah!
So cable pushdowns are a staple for a reason. That's why CBum loves them. They offer a constant line of resistance throughout the whole movement, making them ideal for isolating the triceps, especially when fatigue is high or you're working on strict form. They're also easy to adjust with different grips and attachments to shift emphasis across the triceps' three heads.
Most folks will do their push downs by starting up here and coming all the way down and then coming all the way back up. And there's not a damn thing wrong with that.
So the traditional forearm style is solid. It gives a decent stretch at the top and a full contraction at the bottom, but it's not necessarily optimal for constant tension. Depending on the angle and setup, it can let the load drop off at the top where the cable stops pulling directly against the triceps.
But what I like to do is put as much tension on the tricep in the stretch as possible.
Prioritizing the stretch position increases the mechanical tension on the long head of the triceps, the largest of the three heads. So stretch-mediated hypertrophy is a powerful tool, and leaning into that part of the range could lead to greater muscle growth than just chasing the squeeze at the bottom.
This is going to be an almost straight line, which is why it's called a push down and not a cable tricep extension, because the elbows go up and back, but the bar stays flush. As soon as your biceps and forearms are touching, come back down.
So by keeping the movement vertical and controlled helps ensure the triceps are doing most of the work, instead of just turning into a hybrid lift involving your shoulders or back. By stopping once your forearm touches your biceps, you're maintaining constant tension and preventing rest at the top.
And what I like to do is go up nice and slow and controlled, pause for that deep, painful, annoying stretch. Try not to cave in. Try to keep your chest up so that it actually stays out of the movement and it's basically only triceps. Push down nice and quick and then come back up slow.
So by going slow on the way up forces the tricep to resist the cable, pulling them into a stretch. That's where a lot of muscle breakdown occurs. Keeping the chest up and posture tight also reduces upper body compensation. It isolates the arms more effectively.
Another variation you can try is the same exercise, but you push only about 3/4 of the way down, maybe 2/3, keeping the tension in the triceps, coming back up for a pause, keep the tension, back up in the pause, only 2/3 down, back up. This is brutal and terrible.
Partial range training like this keeps the triceps under constant tension. You never lock out fully, so the muscle never gets to break. It's metabolically demanding and increases local fatigue fast, which is a great way to finish your workout or targeting endurance-based hypertrophy. So let me know in the comments the variation you use the most or the one you haven't tried yet.
Number 4 of my favorite tricep exercises is the behind the neck single arm dumbbell extension.
So this is a fantastic way to target the long head of the tricep, which is the only head of the tricep that crosses over the shoulder joint. Working one arm at a time increases focus, helps identify imbalances, and forces more control through the range of motion.
Yes, behind the neck extensions with cables and with barbells are awesome when it's 2-arm. But sometimes it means a lot of spinal strains, you got a lot of weight up there, you got to balance and stuff.
Bilateral overhead movements could create a lot of axial loading, especially if mobility is limited. The one-arm dumbbell version offloads the spine, offers more freedom at the shoulder joint, and allows for safer setup without compromising on tricep stimulation.
So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a dumbbell, is going to reach all the way back to touch the middle part of his middle back. Not even upper, middle. That's the goal.
So by actively reaching behind your head creates a loaded stretch, which is really difficult to replicate with many other tricep exercises. The more the elbow flexes, the more mechanical tension gets placed on the long head during the eccentric phase.
How you hold a dumbbell doesn't matter a ton, but I do prefer the neutral grip. The neutral grip does realign a little bit of what tricep heads contribute. It's a novel stimulus, it's variation, it's something fun, and it works ultra well.
A neutral grip often feels more natural for the wrist and elbow, reducing joint stress. It also subtly shifts how different heads of the tricep are recruited, which makes this variation both joint friendly and a useful tool for overall tricep development.
Go light at first with these. A lot of times, because you can do a lot of eccentric control and really take the reps through a super range of motion, you only have to do 10 to 15 reps per arm, per set. Because
of the long range of motion and the isolation involved, these don't require heavy loads to be effective. The stretch at the bottom plus the unilateral control makes this a perfect higher rep hypertrophy focused lift. Ideal for building size without beating up your joints.
My last, but not least, favorite tricep exercise is the low incline dumbbell skull crusher.
So the variation combines the benefits of incline positioning with the control of the dumbbells, giving you a deeper stretch than a flat skull crusher while keeping each arm working independently. Great for balance and joint friendly loading.
You're gonna come down with the dumbbells in a neutral grip, and you're gonna go straight down, to get as deep below your shoulders as possible for that extra crazy stretch.
So using a neutral grip here reduces wrist strain and makes it easier to sink deep behind the head, which targets the long head of the tricep even more aggressively. The incline enhances this stretch by putting the triceps in a more lengthened starting position.
From that position, it's difficult to restart. So it's going to be a very heavy controlled eccentric. We're going to make it easier on the way up by you tilting your elbows forward and then doing a JM press style extension, and then back again for that skull crusher super arc ultra deep.
So that deep stretch at the bottom puts you in a mechanical disadvantage. It's hard to initiate the lift. By transitioning to a JM style press, you shift some of the load into a stronger range, making the concentric more manageable without sacrificing time under tension.
Rotation of the elbow to get a better angle, and then a press up. It's going to let you go really close and beyond failure in some sense to triceps.
So that slight elbow rotation allows you to adjust mid-rep to maintain effective tension. Combining movement patterns allows you to push past typical failure points by offloading stress from the stretch position to more favorable pressing paths. It's smart strategic fatigue management. So Dr. Mike's 5 favorite tricep exercises are now on the screen. Give them a go and let me know how you get on in the comments. If you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up and watch this next video.